the average man has to work 20 times harder to pursue and attract a female that is 5 times worse than his grandmother. And that was a very damning quote that I heard. And initially, you ward it off. You believe it can't be true. You believe that it's a hearsay. That there are good women out there. And this is not me to discredit the actual good women out there, because absolutely I do want to make a disclaimer. There are, I'm sure, millions of amazing, good-hearted, traditional women. Absolutely, I'm not disputing that. But in comparison to the demographic and how society has evolved and shifted compared to times like the 1950s, times like the 1960s, 1970s, etc., society has changed drastically, and some would argue for the better, but a lot of us would argue for the worse. We've arrived in a state right now in 2024 where I, as a young man in his 20s, and it's not even just my experience, it's experience with my friends and a lot of the people that I've spoken to, and trust me, I've spoken to a lot of people, and you know the noise around social media, you know what the red pill and the black pill is like, and you know, we've all heard of terms like hypergamy, etc., and women only date upwards. We've all heard those red pill terms, and some of it can't be disputed, of course. But dating in 2024 is nearly impossible. And when I say dating, I don't mean in terms of attracting women. That's not what I'm saying. Now, I speak from experience. Most men that I speak to, including myself, we don't have an issue in attracting women. It's the standard. It's the caliber. Now, of course, you have to level up as a man. This is not me blaming women, absolutely not. This is not what this video is about. This is not what this channel is about. I put a lot of responsibility on men as well. I think as men that we've got a lot weaker, we've become docile. We're not as assertive as we used to be. And the reason we're not as assertive is for a multitude of reasons. But one reason being is because of things like lack of self-confidence, self-esteem. We haven't worked on ourselves as men, and that's why this channel is around. It's to encourage men to embark on self-improvement so that you become the man required, so that you actually attract the woman that you want, let's say in your dreams, but it's actually the woman that you deserve. And right now you're nowhere near that stage, but you have to embark on this path, embark on this journey. Attracting women isn't the issue here. When I say dating is nearly impossible, I'm talking about the standards, the quality, the caliber of woman that you truly want, because a lot of us can get a girlfriend relatively easily, and if you can't, trust me, it's not that hard. You put in a little bit of work, you improve your social skills, you go in the right environment, I promise you it's not that hard, because women are also looking for the same thing. So it's not like you're chasing after something. You're going after something where the feeling is mutual, if you know what I mean. What I'm talking about is a standard that you want. Those, and I'm not even just talking about looks here. I'm not talking about your 8s, 9s and 10s. I'm talking about the personality. I'm talking about morals. I'm talking about values. I'm talking about a God-fearing woman. I'm talking about a woman that would be terrified to cheat on you. And it's not because that she's scared of consequences. She doesn't want to cheat on you because she views you as a man. And that's why I put a lot of emphasis on men to embark on self-improvement, so that she views you in that manner. But women, you know, I speak about dopamine and your brain being fried and dopamine receptors, and how men are in this diabolical state where we can't focus and we have things like ADHD. The same is a reflection on women as well. Women's brains are fried, and a lot of that is because of things like social media, things like Instagram. The woman that you desire, the quality of woman that you want, she has countless amount of options. That's just a fact. She gets multiple guys sliding in her DMs constantly. She gets guys approaching her at work. She gets guys approaching her at social events. She's constantly got options. That amount of attention that she's getting left, right, and centre, it's frying her brain. She thinks to herself that you're pretty disposable because she can just move on to the next guy. And from an evolutionary standpoint, that's not natural at all. As humans, that's not biological. It's that quote that I referred to where a 13-year-old kid today has access to more naked women on his screen than an emperor or a sultan or someone like, not Genghis Khan because he was a madman, but an emperor back in the day had access to in his entire lifetime. And whether you think that's good or bad, that's extremely powerful. That's really powerful to your brain. And you can imagine the damages and the implications that has on your brain. The same thing is said for women, because attention is now the economy, it's the currency. So when this woman is getting hundreds of likes, is getting compliments left, right, and centre, remember, back in the 1950s, back in the 1960s, you weren't competing against millions of men. You weren't competing against even hundreds of men. You were just competing with the guys in your local area because there wasn't the internet. So you would just marry a local girl in your area who you went to school with or you met at work, but that was it. You had children with her, you married her off, you cuffed her, and for the rest of your life, you just lived with her. That was a reality and that was a norm. That was how humans exist, and that's actually how it should be. And that's why I spoke about at the beginning of this video of how things have evolved. But I believe things have evolved to a state where, yes, of course, there are benefits of social media, where now dating is impossible for the vast majority of men. Because a vast majority of women want the top 20% of men, which is what I encourage you guys to become. But 4/5, 80% of men in the West, they're non-existent. Most women don't find you attractive. You're not wanted, you're not desired. And that has a very damaging effect on your personal image. It has a very damaging effect on your confidence, on your self-esteem as a young man, because again, it creates this hopeless mentality, this hopeless mindset of what's the point of me even trying? That's why you're seeing a surgence in a black pill community, a surgence in a red pill community, because of a lot of young men, and I actually understand to an extent, where they sit there and say, well, what's the point? I'm competing against so many men, I might as well give up. There's just no point. And I understand where they're coming from, and that's again because of how things have evolved. Dating is nearly impossible, not because it's impossible to get a girlfriend. Dating is nearly impossible because a woman's standards has now shifted to extortionate rates, but as well as that, you're not competing against men in your local area, you're competing against men, millions of men across the globe. Everything is globalized now. So it's not like a granddad era when you're in the 1950s, 1960s, and he just married the beautiful woman in his local area. You don't have that luxury, you don't have that option. You're after a woman that's not as good as your grandma, who's got countless amounts of options. Her brain is completely fried from the amount of dopamine. That right there is a reality of the situation, and dating, especially in 2024. And please do not get me started on hookup culture, on dating apps in general, because dating apps have been absolutely cancerous for a lot of young men. It's destroyed us, because even if you download a dating app as a young man, and this is absolutely ludicrous, the ratio is out of this mind. It's out of this world, because the vast majority of people on dating apps are men. So already you're on the back foot, because the woman that you match with, she's got countless amounts of men after her. So for a lot of women, they're not even on there for dates. They're just on there, again, the same reason. Attention is the currency. They're there for pure attention, for likes, for compliments. They have no intention of meeting the guy. Or they simply go for hookups, which again will be long-term, very damaging in terms of marriage and happiness and things like that. So dating apps has ruined a lot of the game as well. You as a young man, you have one mission. You have one mission. Yes, you may feel hopeless, you may feel dejected, but you, my friend, have one mission, and that is to enter into the top 20% at least as a young man, to embark on self-improvement, to eradicate bad habits, incorporate positive habits, everything that I speak about on this channel on a consistent basis. You do that over a consistent period of time, and I promise you, the sky is the limit. You won't have an issue with luring or pursuing or attracting women, the caliber of women that you want, I promise you. Right now, it might feel like a million miles away, but I promise you, you're not that far off. You just have to be consistent, and you have to stop listening to what the mainstream media tell you, to what your peers tell you. Just embark on self-improvement, be consistent with it, and the results will come. Smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.